Looks like my measurements were off. Hey, it's Michael with Third Gen Garage, and today I'm going to be working on a coolant reservoir replacement. This is an aftermarket one. Another thing I'm going to be doing is drilling a hole on top, and I'm going to be running this 90-degree barb. Yeah, so really this is just like a fail-safe if there's extra pressure. So what I'm going to be doing is drilling a hole right in the center there. It's already kind of indented. So I'll be drilling a hole out, tapping the hole, and running that in. I checked the reviews on these canisters, and one of the complaints is that apparently the paint is not great on these threads, and the way it threads in, the threads actually go into the bottle. It doesn't like go over it. So what I'm going to do is probably take a wire brush to it and clean up the paint off of here, try to get it off as best as I can, and also do that from the threads on the cap. And that's just to prevent potential paint falling in later as I'm checking it. This thing comes with some hose, which I'm not really a fan of the color, but I might run like a cover over it or something. I'm gonna get started on this. The kit also comes with some brackets, and from what I hear, some pretty crappy clamps, but you know, we're gonna make it work. This whole kit was like under 20 bucks on AliExpress. You can get it there. It takes a little bit longer than Amazon, or I will link to an Amazon one that's basically it's the exact same one. I'll have an affiliate link below. Let's get started on this. So my whole reason for doing this is that I previously moved my intake from the exhaust side over to the intake side. Got rid of the long tube intake and went with this short ram, and in doing so, now this is kind of tightly packed, and also this coolant reservoir is kind of ugly anyway. I just wanted a small kind of aftermarket nice looking black canister, so that's what I got. So what I'm going to be doing today is removing this, removing that, and swapping it for that new one, and hopefully make this look a lot cleaner and give this a little more room to breathe. Also, since coolant does like move back and forth, this heats up and it's right next to the filter. I don't know if that is gonna really affect intake temps really, but it definitely makes me kind of think maybe I should move it anyway, just to keep the area surrounding this as cool as possible. Also, this spout would go directly into here if it ever overheated or overflowed, so I definitely don't want that to happen. There's some bolt holes over here that were used for the stock intake. I know there's that one right there, there's some here. There's various holes here that are threaded that I can use to mount that canister, so let me assess the best one to use. It looks like I'm gonna go with mounting it right here. There are some bolt holes. There's one right here, there's one right here, there's one right here. So I have various areas that I can make a bracket. I'm gonna be making a bracket. I have those ones that it came with, but there's just small angle brackets. So really, I'm gonna be making my own bracket, and it's gonna mount something like that and get routed just like this. Unfortunately, I am gonna have to use this orange hose. I don't really like it. It's kind of ugly, but I think what I'm gonna do is go over it with some sort of like sleeve. I have some wire sleeve. I think that'll work, and just kind of like make it covered in black, and then it'll go right there. But that's, I think, gonna be my best bet as far as hood clearance, because if you look from the side here, it has plenty of hood clearance. The further I move it forward, the closer it's gonna get to the top of the hood, and yeah, I don't want it to make contact, so it's gonna have to go back a little further. Yeah, let's get this thing mounted. To make my own bracket, I'm just gonna use this scrap piece of steel, and I'm gonna clean it up after, but I'm just gonna mark this out. Let's see, the bottom part only needs to be about 1 inch or 2. This is 1.25 inches, which is fine. And then it's gonna go up the bottle about to right there. So let's go with about 4 inches up the bottle, 4 3/4 inches, something like that. So let's do 6 inches. So we're gonna do 6, all the way up to 6. Oops, right there, something like that. Like that. Cut this out real quick with the jigsaw. This helps. Not the straightest cut. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna use this to bend that around it. Yeah, just like that. Something like that. There it is. Mount. Bottle. I am going to clean this up a little bit more. Not catching on my glove, so that's a good sign. Alright, that's good. Now I just need some holes. So what I went and did was just kind of eyeballed it, but I made my markings for the 2 bolt holes, and I have the 2 bolts here that I'm going to be using. Use a screw I had lying around to kind of get it started. Alright, and I probably should be wearing gloves for this in case it spins, or clamp it down. I will be painting this, but I'm not going to show that on camera. For now, let's go see what it looks like. Looks like my measurements were off. Let's go slot these holes. Alright, off camera I did a little bit of cleanup, a little bit smoother. Slotted. It's not all the way tight, but that's what we're looking at. This is getting painted black. I'll probably go with a different setup for this. I might even just zip tie it, just so that it's matching black. If not, I'll leave the hose clamp. That's not really an issue. I might bend this out just to flare it so it doesn't slip off. That's the route we're taking. So let's see. The next thing would be to I'm gonna clean up that canister. I said I want to clean up the threads, and I think I'm gonna also grind off the paint from the barb. I'm not too sure, or maybe at least the inner, so that there's no paint going inside or where coolant goes in and out. To pick up where I left off, I went ahead and cleaned up these threads, took the paint off. I also took the paint off of the inner inside with a drill bit, just going like rotting it out basically, like with the drill bit, just to get the paint off. Then I went ahead and washed it out because, like I said before, from what I heard, paint kind of falls into your coolant, so I tried to like get as much paint off as I could from anything that would touch the actual coolant itself. I went a little far on this, so I ended up just taking all the paint off anyway. What I'm going to do now though is just going to try to keep it as straight as possible. I'll clean that out after, but let's get this threaded. There it is, tapped. So Nice and tight. It's in there. It's not going anywhere. But there we are. All right, what I do have for this is I wanted to cover this hose because honestly I'm not a big fan of orange. Now this should just kind of go in there. All right, so got that covered. Oops, almost forgot to put this on. That's like that. I guess that's good enough to show the finished product because I am going to take this bracket out and paint it. But I'll also probably trim this down because it doesn't need to be that long. Alright, I got the nut off from there and the bolt from right there. And I got this coolant hose up, so let's pull this out. Just keep this up. Now that that is off, slide that on. That one's a little more loose, so I feel like it does need a hose clamp. It's on there. Alright, now I'll just hit this with a couple of zip ties. But so instead of using the stock tube and cutting it shorter because I don't need all of it, I'm just gonna go ahead and use some of this leftover tube that I had because it is the right size. It is 3/8. Just gonna route this, just go like that. Yeah, we'll just loop it like that. There we go. All that's left to do is put coolant in it. But that should be about it for today. All right, so it's a little warm. Might tell I'm a little sweaty. I'm gonna do some cleanup and put some coolant in that tank. Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. Did have a little bit of struggles. I thought it was gonna be a little easier than this, but it's finally away from the filter and I'm a little happier. Again, if you want a link to the bottle that I bought, I'll put the AliExpress link. If you want an Amazon alternative, I'll put an affiliate link for that down in the description below. If you like this content, feel free to leave me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. Next video, I'll be doing some ducting to hopefully make the hot air intake a little less hot. I got some stuff on the printer right now, and I ordered some other things, so hopefully I'll get that out to you guys soon, and hopefully I'll get some cooler air into that engine. It is warming up out here, so thanks for watching, and hopefully see you next time.